luck, everybody. Yeah. Good evening, everybody. We've got a Division E East game here for you tonight. We've got FF and the Pancakes versus FC Hong Kong. Free Hong Kong has won our coin flip and has chosen to take first pick. FF and the Pancakes is taking us to Infernal Shrines, a great macro and team fight map. Very curious to see if these teams are going to go for that big team fight presence to control the shrine. Gonna look for picks. There's a lot of different ways that you can draft this map. Gotta fix that overlay. There we go. In the history between these two teams, both of them have been in Div D in the past, and through some roster swaps and changes, have found themselves down into Div E. In the past, Free Hong Kong has won, I believe, 2 out of the 3 matches that they played against each other. Looking forward to this excellent rematch between these two teams. Free Hong Kong is coming in with a off-roster sub. Raku is joining them tonight in the place of Tiny No Tai, their typical mage and healer flex. Looks like we are getting into the game. The lobby is ready. Both teams have readied up. We are getting ourselves into our first draft here tonight for Infernal Shrines. Free Hong Kong coming out with that first ban, taking out my great hero on that shrine. Offers a lot of engaged potential. And FF and the Pancakes coming out with a Stukov ban. Stukov being that high priority healer, a lot of zone control, a lot of AoE healing and sustain. Very difficult to deal with. And in particular, FC Hong Kong has a long history of utilizing that Stukov to great effect, both for blowups, sustain. It's always been a great pick for Free Hong Kong. FC Hong Kong, standing out that Dahaga, great global presence, strong on the shrine, big CC with that Q, that tongue drag. And Gul'dan, a ban of an AoE mage, a lot of zone control, a lot of sustain, big ultimate potential, and a favorite for the mage player, SC Hong Kong. Johanna's first picked by Double Dan, the tank for FC Hong Kong. Great hero on this map in particular and in the meta. Lots of damage, lots of CC and control, and two very impactful ultis.
I will fight to my last
In
breath.
response, Grumpy Kitten picks up Leoric and Stampy picks up Rhaegar. Leo, an amazing shrine clear hero, also very impactful ultimate, and Rhaegar, despite the nerfs, still stands in a really good spot in the hero pool, offering us a lot of AoE sustain, super impactful either damage ulti or the big massive heal. Brightwing comes out for Ragu, good CC healer with a big heal and global presence, and Sylvanas for Nematode, good sustain auto attacker and enables that strong push potential by disabling those towers. FC Hong Kong not really showing too much of their hand here. Some pretty versatile picks. Same thing with FF and the Pancakes. I'm gonna see how FF decides to ban out going into this draft. They take out Lunara, another impactful auto attacker with some good burst. It's a solid ban. What are we gonna see out of the last ban for Hong Kong? Ban of Orphea. Orphea, a great sustain mage with impactful ults, can drop that Eternal Feast onto the shrine for continuous AoE damage. FF and the Pancakes are going to need to look up picking up their tank. Ooh, the Arthas, not a super meta tank, but very difficult to heal if you don't have a strong lockdown or a displacement. So we're going to see if that Arthas can be impactful by sitting on the back line or controlling the front of Free Hong Kong. And then Jaina, another big high impact slow, high AoE damage mage coming out from FF and the Pancakes. Dax picks up Blaze, big AoE stuns, another big body to put in the front line for Free Hong Kong. And Vince Noir with Kael'thas, super powerful mage on this map. Those flame strikes are great for picking out those shrine monkeys, and then the spread damage is also super impactful. And Tychus for the last pick for FF and the Pancakes, that Odin super great on the shrine, and then super powerful tank busting ability against this double tank frontline coming out of SC Hong Kong. We're looking at a huge slow comp coming out of FF and the Pancakes, taking a lot of slows through Arthas, Leoric, Rhaegar, and Jaina to keep heroes held still for that big Tychus minigun damage. Then for FC Hong Kong, a lot of stuns, a lot of control, and then some big push potential out of Sylvanas from Nematode.
Prepare yourselves for battle, heroes.
From our blue team, we, FF and the Pancakes, we're looking at Stampy playing Jaina, Courtney playing Tychus, Zigny playing Arthas, I apologize if I pronounced that wrong, Mr. G on Rhaegar, and Grumpy Kitten playing the Leoric. From FC Hong Kong, we have Nematode on Sylvanas, Double Dan playing Johanna, Dax playing Blaze, Vince Noir on Kael'thas, and Ragu playing the Brightwing. I'm expecting a quick clear from both of these teams. They have fantastic AoE, minion clear, and then quick rotations through bottom, mid. Jaina throwing out those pokes with that frostbolt, just getting some free damage. Same thing comes from that Tychus. Double clicks up that wave, quickly uses the trait to get out of there and sustain her health. Now already both teams are demolishing these waves quickly. That Jaina Blizzard allowing the Pancakes to get prio on this first wave. Looks like FF and Pancakes are looking to utilize this bush to catch FC Hong Kong on their mid-rotation. double controlling that point of aggression, and Blaze is looking to pick up that soak in mid to enable FC Hong Kong to posture for this bottom camp and get Prio on the bottom wave. Looks like this camp tank is being sniffed out by the Pancakes as they are invading this camp, but maybe not. And FC Hong Kong manages to take this, pick it up, and likely walk away. But they're not going to walk away, they're going to look for kills here. Jaina with the Blizzard doing a lot of damage to the front line of FC Hong Kong. Arthas continues to soldier forward. Both teams trade a lot of damage, but nobody goes down. Looks like Nematode's looking to start this camp for FC Hong Kong, while FF and the Pancakes are continuing their rotations, picking up the soak. Both bruisers doing their diligence to pick up these waves, neither of them trading too much HP or mana. Free Hong Kong picking up that camp is not going to look to enable it too hard. Looks like they might even be looking at this invade. Blaze is already here and goes for that big stun. A lot of damage coming out on Arthas. The stun from Kael'thas. Damage is going down. Brightwing with the healing. Now Arthas walks away, but not without a fair share of damage. Free Hong Kong is going to look to clear out this camp, get back to their rotations. Brightwing is alone here in bottom, taking some damage from the Jaina, but nothing too deadly. A little bit of time will cure those wounds. Looks like we have the tank and Kael'thas backing for Free Hong Kong, getting their mana and their HP back in preparation for the shrine. Both teams clearing their waves. Blaze is looking to pick up a little bit of extra mana here from the globe. FC Hong Kong picking up their camp as well as FF and Pancakes. A team that gets the latest capture of this camp will often find themselves having wave prio because the other team's camp will be ground down by the towers on the top side. Looks like Free Hong Kong is going to find themselves with that advantage. The shrine comes up, both teams are almost exactly even on XP. Brightwing getting some of that split soak in bottom. And both teams now are posturing over this shrine. The Pancakes are all here as 5, ready and rearing to go. Hong Kong is going to look to pierce into this front line, this Arthas and Leo double. Jaina's Blizzard already out. Dax comes in from the flank with a stun. Double sitting in the front, eating all of that damage. Both Leo and Arthas from Pancakes are low. The pursuit on Arthas is on. Nematode and Double Dam pursuing hard. The stun from Kael'thas also traps out Arthas, and now Hong Kong are in control of the shrine. Though they're short on monkeys, the presence there can be felt. The HP is getting low. The Orc in the back alone, doing some damage, but getting out for free. Both teams nearly even on monkeys. Hong Kong lower on HP. Looks like the Pancakes, with their HP advantage, are going to utilize it to gain control back of the shrine and a lead on the monkeys. With this objective going over to the Pancakes, we're going to see if they choose to push with, side push. They might even pick up this camp on bottom to enable this push even stronger. Double picks up that jump, utilizes the shield to not eat the stun or damage. Fantastic burn on this objective. Though it is a frozen Punisher, it looks like the Pancakes are only going to get this front wall. Hong Kong doing a great job minimizing this damage. The jump on a double makes her eat a lot of damage from the Tychus minigun. The Brightwing Z comes in, heals her to full. Looks like Pancakes are not going to push their luck here. Both teams fairly even on XP. The edge going to the Pancakes with those 2 towers going down, giving them about half a level. Now the Pancakes are going to use some of the rotational advantage to pick up this bottom camp, while Hong Kong picks up their Bruiser's camp. They're going to go down to contest over in the bottom lane, clear out that Bruiser camp. The Auric gaining a bit of a rotational advantage, utilizing that camp in the top lane to slow down Blaze. And without the auto attack speed and boost on 1, Blaze is going to have a hard time clearing out those camps with quite the same efficiency as Leoric can with the level 4 Neil Peasants, which allows Leoric to clear and obtain camps with extreme speed. It's like both teams are posturing here for a bit of an engagement while Leoric gets a free push top, Blaze being that kind of auxiliary tank, enabling the team to take fights, even though Johanna had hearthed. Both teams continuing to rotate. The Pancakes having a small advantage in XP are likely going to try to get a fight right on that verge of 10 so that they can come in with their ultimates. They're looking to come in as 5 here. Both teams as 5, hovering around the level 10 big power spike for heroic ultimates. No camps on the map. Both teams with extreme wave clear are doing a whole lot of nothing from time to time. Neither team really wanted to take a fight without a very clear advantage, occasionally positioning for those bush ganks. Sylvanas out there just a little bit far, doesn't get punished. Both teams rotating safely. Both teams doing a great job not giving the other team anything that they want. Arthas walking up, trying to use those slows on Johanna, and the mic control comes up from Sylvanas on the Arthas. Ring across Jaina, highly impactful. Brightwing cleanse is fantastic. Dax comes in with the stun. A lot of damage goes down on Tychus and Leoric. Leoric goes down, the Ancestral goes off. Dax in, almost ready for another stun. 2 for nothing for Hong Kong. Blaze going down to pick up some soak, continue to open up this advantage for Hong Kong. Thankfully, for the Pancakes, the death timers are short, so everybody will be up and ready for this objective when the time comes. Especially Leoric using that trait value. Blaze getting a little bit of soak through middle. And unfortunately for Hong Kong, their front gate has been destroyed, so they actually won't have a severe advantage here with their camp being taken later. They're actually going to choose to clear the opposing camp to gain that vision advantage, while the Pancakes are using that time to gain an advantage on the shrine. A big CC combo comes out between Blaze and Kael'thas. Damage comes down. Blaze, with no mana, is sitting in the middle of the enemy team, surviving through everything. A huge Ancestral comes out. And now Blaze, the big stun on Arthas is continuing to take damage. He's unstoppable. The Ring of Frost comes out, hitting several heroes. Both Sylvanas and Kael'thas all stunned. A lot of damage comes down from both teams. Nobody dies amazingly, but Brightwing popped in the end by Jaina. Jaina with double kill, trading her life for 2. Actually, not even trading her life. She manages to wiggle out and get out for free. 2 for nothing. Amazing play by Jaina. Now Hong Kong, with low mana and body disadvantage, is going to have to retreat, potentially get that well, and if they have time with a respawn, which may or may not be the case, look to come back in. Neither team is going to have 13s before this objective is concluded. It looks like the second objective is going to go over to the side of the Pancakes. There will be no wall for this fort for Hong Kong, so they're going to likely have to do whatever damage they can safely and then back up to their keep for the real defense.
Blue team has summoned an arcane punisher.
It is an arcane punisher, so a lot of damage from this punisher, but no CC like the frozen punisher we saw last time. Double with a great pull, pulling that punisher to the side so that the team can choose to fight that punisher exclusively and not have to fight in a huge team fight. Blaze off in another lane, gaining a soak advantage while FF from the Pancakes pushes as 5. They're hoping to find an advantage to utilize this number advantage to gain either the wall or even the entire keep, maybe get some kills here. Let's see if Hong Kong gives them what they want. It is a 5v4 here. Double comes up to clear that wave, and it doesn't look like they're going to pursue unwisely. Blaze here with a flank. He had a huge stun here. Chooses to, he gets a huge hit on the Tychus. Tychus gets popped immediately. Sylvanas to follow mind control. Blaze coming in with the stun, following up that KT. Ancestral goes off on Jaina, who's in the middle of the enemy team. The oil keeping her slowed, and that Entomb catches nobody, even imprisons the Jaina, and it's a 2 for nothing in favor of Hong Kong. Let's see what they do with their advantage. They could take enemy camps, they could take bottom camps, getting some macro going to widen their advantage on this map, despite losing their 4 in the top lane. Leo is alone in bottom. There are 3 coming in directly at him. Uses that unstoppable. Let's see if Sylvanas hits that mind control for the kill, and that mind control is not attempted. Syl does have trait to open up this wall. Looks like they're going to wait to use that Sylvanas trait. Hitting this camp. Taking low risk. Johanna continuing to dismount and annoy the Pancakes. And now Nemeto caught into amazing attune from the Pancakes. The retaliation damage though is huge, and Brightman comes with an amazing Z and a cleanse to free those members of Hong Kong, and that tomb now starts to look like kind of a bad idea. Blaze comes in with a huge flank on the stun. Mr. G with huge damage, starting to get picked off. The chase is on from Free Hong Kong, and Rhaegar pops in the end, is unable to survive. Looks like Blaze and Johanna picking up some soak. Joe taking the time to reset. Hong Kong looking at a 16-14 advantage. They're going to utilize that to crack open some of this fort. There's also macro plays to be had on the map through camps. A big stun on that Jaina takes a huge amount of her health in damage. Now Hong Kong picking up their camp, getting the easy win here. Johanna using her mobility, her free escape to walk away. Looks like she could actually end up taking a lot of damage here. Leoric does not choose to go for any type of Entomb play.
Another shrine will be ready soon.
And Hong Kong S5 is descending upon the members as they rotate precariously. And now they're going to take that fort. No risk, all reward from Hong Kong on this bottom lane. They're going to even out this map, hitting a fort for fort, and with the 16 advantage. But the Entomb is going to come in from that Leoric. It hits Blaze, but Blaze retaliates with the stun. Johanna is walking back, protecting her backline. Blaze throwing the slows. Now Hong Kong is looking to clump and return fire at the enemy team. Tychus sawing down the front line, but taking plenty of damage in return. The counter damage, too much for Tychus to handle. Jaina also goes down for huge damage, both from the mage and the tanks. Arthas slowing the enemy team so that they can't continue the chase, but it looks like Rhaegar is out of position. Can Noah pick up that final kill against the Rhaegar. Now with a 2-0, Hong Kong is looking to take this objective, finally finish off that bottom fort, and get even on this map. All the while, wisely, Rhaegar is taking this fallen shaman camp to gain some continuous macro pressure against that weakened top lane from Hong Kong. There's already a catapult pressuring, there's another one coming down. Blaze is here to clear up some of that macro pressure, while Hong Kong takes the easy win on this objective. Still using some of that wave and that trait advantage, giving her that free fort so that Hong Kong can press directly onto the keep. Blaze still in top lane, able to potentially address Fallen Shaman camp that is going to slowly but surely assault along that lane. Smaller Punisher, not a huge CC like a Frozen, but offers a lot of damage to those mortars, particularly siege damage. So let's see how Free Hong Kong can take advantage. A lot of the damage from the Pancakes is able to shred this Punisher. That Entomb was fantastic, picking onto the mage, but nobody is able to join on that attack. Ring of Frost also comes out and manages to hit a hero, but there's no follow-up from the Ring of Frost. Even though that was a 5v4 in favor of the Pancakes, they're unable to get any kills on the defense. Great defense, they kept the keep. They're going to be happy with that, but some kills would have been nice for them as well. Looks like Sylvanas is looking to cycle around, do some damage to this fort. The four of the Pancakes are waiting on that camp. Sylvanas eats the Frost Blast from Arthas, but is not punished. All the while, Blaze diligently defending that top lane from that catapult pressure, and Hong Kong is looking to have a 20v18 fight, most likely, on this final objective, or this next objective. Pancakes, meanwhile, doing what is ideal when one is behind, or nearly behind the talent here, is getting macro working in your favor. You don't want to take a team fight, you want to macro, you want to work the map. Looks like Hong Kong is addressing this engage. Memo with a huge mic control on the Leoric. There's a lot of damage going down. AT spread is oppressive. Double with an amazing scoop to group those heroes as they explode from the KT bombs, and they're going to chase for more. Vander tries to retaliate with some of that frost damage, but the impending doom of Johanna running at your face. The York getting some of that trait value, slowing Hong Kong as they move towards this keep. And this keep will easily fall under the pressure damage of Hong Kong. Although the Brightwing almost pops due to a fantastic combo from that Jaina, Hong Kong is looking for kills, getting a lot of damage. The fantastic heal from Rhaegar to save Jaina at the last second. Now Hong Kong is sawing down this keep. Lays in a good bit of trouble here. A little overextended. Eats some severe damage from both Jaina and the York. Now we're looking at double also potentially falling. A lot of the damage coming out. Slowly taken down for HP pool. AT is unable to mount here. It looks like Sylvanas is going for a counterattack. A lot of damage comes out of the Sylvanas with the mind control. Great stun from the kill boss. Now it's a 3v3, and that 3v3 is looking in favor of Hong Kong.
Red team has destroyed a fort.
Hong Kong continues to retreat. There's a lot of macro pressure all the while on the map in favor of Hong Kong. But nothing too dire for the Pancakes. The Pancakes still have 2 keeps. They're likely to get, if they pick up a couple of extra waves, they're likely to get 20 before they absolutely must fight. The next objective is going to come down middle lane, which is one of their most defended lanes. This game is quite far from over, and the level 20 impact of the ultimates from the Pancakes cannot be underestimated. That level 20 upgrade, both for Rhaegar, is incredible. Level 20 for Leoric is game-breaking with that Silence too. The Monkey's advantage certainly going over for FF and the Pancakes. They've got 25. It might even be worth it for Hong Kong to give this and to prepare other lanes. That is exactly what they're going to do. They're going to take this camp. It's going to help D-push mid lane so that there's no archer minions also hailing down on their fort. Great pickup for Hong Kong. Fantastic to pick up this objective for the Pancakes. Looks like they're going to take the safe route. Not going to go too eager for this fort. And now, with John Cena with about 2/3 of his health left, they're going to look to gain some structure damage here. And most of the wall was up for Hong Kong, so that is fortunate for them. Leoric looking for that too, but taking a lot of damage trying to walk forward onto the team. This fort will be given, but I would not be surprised to see Hong Kong come out swinging as soon as John Cena dies. That Ring of Frost does hit the tank, and that Entomb manages to finish off the tank for free Hong Kong. But the counter kill is real. Blaze surviving through everything, almost at the last second, where Brightwing nearly saves Blaze's life. We have a 2-for-2. Both teams trading kill after kill. The Pancakes looking to back off here, lick some of their wounds in macro. The map is fairly even. 1 keep down to none. All forts down. Now that Hong Kong has gotten a taste of the power of the level 20 Entomb, I think we're going to see a little bit more caution out of the tanks from Hong Kong, unable to use their defensive cooldowns to save themselves. And that Brightwing Z, putting Brightwing in a good amount of danger to blink in there to try to save an ally. On this next objective, both teams will have their full keep for defense, so it's not do or die. You know, one team manages to get a pick here. It looks like Hong Kong is slowly but surely moving. Get vision on this last camp available on the map, but instead they find in Leoric and almost managed to get the pick off as Leoric rotates a little aggressively across the map. Now Hong Kong sticking together as 5. Trying to take safe rotations. The offlaners clearing mid. Gentleman's agreement to not fight too severely. The Pancakes are rotating through mid, looking to get some damage onto the offlaner. That's not going to happen. Sylvanas looks like she could be caught out here, but instead, it's actually Arthas that's caught out. I'm not trapped in here with you, you're trapped in here with me, says Double as she scoops the enemy front line, and they take buckets of damage, both from Sylvanas and KT. And yeah, the counter kill is in from that Tychus, a huge percent damage, doing so much to this double front line of Hong Kong. Looking at the talents, Tychus has 170 stacks of that minigun. The minigun is going to last longer than any of Johanna's blinds could ever hope to defend against. This objective is going to come up before all of the bodies for Hong Kong are returned alive. So the onus is on them to get some kind of value elsewhere on this map to try to keep the Pancakes away from pushing down on this keep as 5 as they take this objective. Objective being cleared out quickly with the enormous AoE wave clear of the Pancakes. Hong Kong looking to pick up the bottom left camp to get some kind of macro pressure on this map. We see the return of Arthas, we see the return of Sylvanas and Johanna. We have 5v5 back on the map. This objective going over to the Pancakes on Hong Kong's most damaged keep, and it is a Mortar Punisher, probably one of the better Punishers for shredding the core, though it doesn't offer CC against the enemy team, so maybe not the strongest team fight objective of all of the Punishers. Looks like Johanna's prepping to pull, but is now weary of that level 20 Entomb. John Cena's jump comes out, and the team is pulling this Punisher to the mid keep. Fantastic play, trying to split that damage. And the keep goes down very quickly. Leoric taking a good amount of damage from Tail Toss. And now the Pancakes are on the core. They're looking for kills. It looks like Leoric gets popped almost instantly. Plays with a bunker to save his life against that Jaina burst damage. Brightwing coming in with a cleanse and a Z. Hong Kong's core is taking damage. They're throwing everything that they've got into this Punisher. Punisher looks like it's nearly dead. The members of both teams falling quickly with so much damage being thrown around. The core of Hong Kong looks like it is going to go down. We have our first GG. Well played to both teams. What a game, down to the wire till the very end. Both teams trading structure after structure. Looking at these numbers, we see an absurd amount of damage coming out of Kael'thas, but not to entirely overshadow the damage dealt by both Tychus and Jaina in conjunction. That Tychus, especially in the end game, that scaling percent damage against the um, double front line of Hong Kong ended up paying dividends. And I just got a message from the captain of the Pancakes. They need a little 5-minute break. Take care of some biological. Looking at these talent builds from both teams, Jaina going with something that I've been seeing more and more over time, this increased slow from 4 to 6 seconds. Leoric with the big slows, Rhaegar with the slows, Arthas with the slows. Um, One of the strongest ways to deal with a tank or tanks that have self-unstoppables like Johanna, like Blaze, is to have a lot of slows, rather than depending on small windows of highly impactful CC like stuns. You take a whole bunch of slows. That way, they have to feel bad, cleansing a slow rather than uh, being able to take that unstoppable, block an Uther stun, block a Johanna bless shield, that sort of thing. It was a very intelligently designed draft from the Pancakes, though the draft from Hong Kong, um, extremely impactful all game. They managed to outkill Pancakes 3-2. Um, 5 kills over their 10. Great CC combos from uh, FC Hong Kong. Great damage output. Some really strong turns from both teams. There were a couple of times in that game where Jaina just turned around and threw all of the ice. Uh, Somebody just had to chill in the graveyard for a few minutes. Looking into this next game, I'm very curious to see what heroes each team chooses to take off the field. If they continue to go with their pre-prepared uh, draft picks and bans, or if they decide to adjust their strategy, take out a highly impactful hero from the other team. I think both teams had some very stand-up performances from all of their players. There were some fantastic saves from Rhaegar. Um, Amazing continual slows and CC work from Leoric and Arthas to enable that Tychus to rat-a-tat-tat that percent damage. And on the side of Hong Kong, those stun CC chains, keeping somebody away from their keyboard for seconds at a time while their health pool melted. Both teams intelligently designed, draft, and executed exactly what wanted to do. Um, at the end of the game, it was just the team that won the latest team fight. Um, Fantastic play. I wouldn't feel too abashed from either team about their performance. It does say 0-0. Let me check up on that. Thank you. Somebody has politely informed me that I, in my haste, forgot to alter the team logos. Now, team logos are properly represented, top, left, and right, for both the Pancakes and Hong Kong. Sounds like Hong Kong has decided to take first pick in this next game, and so the Pancakes have chosen to take us to Dragonshire. A great map for expressing the skill of the shot caller on each team. Um, this map will cause teams to split into all kinds of interesting configurations. We see 4-1s sometimes in this map. We can see a 1-3-1, a 1-2-1 with one in each lane and then two rotating. And sometimes we just see all out teams all over the map trading blows, getting kills, getting picks. We have our lobby up for this Dragonfire game. It looks like both teams are ready to go and get us into this second draft. Hong Kong with the first pick. I would not be surprised to see them pick up, try to force that Johanna first pick once again. Johanna was extremely impactful in that game. Great pick for their tank. Would also be interesting to see what kind of flexibility they have. This map typically not being a big wave clear map. And that Maiev ban comes out again, a targeted ban. That hero can be extremely disruptive to rotations, especially on a rotation-heavy map like Dragonshire. What are the Pancakes going to decide to take off the table? And they continue to follow in that trend of taking Stukov off the table away from Hong Kong. Really solid removal. You don't want to see those AoE puddles in chokes. There are plenty of those on Dragonshire, both in between lanes, towards the camps, and on the objectives. And the Orphea ban, once again, getting the strong impression that there is a player or two on the side of the Pancakes with a strong Orphea, possibly Orphea mate. Highly impactful hero, difficult to deal with, moving, darting around. You don't want to see it. What are the Pancakes going to take off the table for Hong Kong here? And they ban the Leoric. Strong double soaker. Not a bad 1v1 as well from the Leoric, so it's good to take that off the table. And Hong Kong picks up the Rhaegar from the first pick rather than the Johanna. Rhaegar super impactful in that last game for the side of the Pancakes, probably wanted to take it as a steal. And as the counter steal, Tank from the Pancakes decides to pull that Johanna away.
It's about damn time.
And then a reverse steal. The no U card is strong in this game. Nema picking up the Tychus, and then double picking up the highly dangerous all-in tank Diablo. High impact damage, great for picks, great for killing heroes on rotations. And having that Tychus off the table for the side of Hong Kong is a great boon to Diablo. Tychus being one of the main heroes that people think of when they think of killing the Diablo. And the Pancakes decide to take Gul'dan off the table. Hong Kong having highly impactful Gul'dan players, I would assume. What are they going to take off the table for the Pancakes? I wouldn't be surprised to see an Assassin ban here, possibly another support ban like the Brightwing. And it's Junkrat. Super annoying hero, especially for Diablo, who wants to charge in, get work done. Seeing those traps intercept your charges is devastating. Much rather see Junkrat not in the game if you're playing Diablo. Next two picks coming out for the Pancakes, Kael'thas and Lunara. Saw a lot of strong effect from a Kael'thas in our previous game. It's a good follow-up CC. Lunara's damage also pairs well with it, having good sustain with the occasional pop of burst, where Kael'thas is your burst combo mage. Seeing a Tassadar, a long-ranged nuke poke hero, and a Sonya. The Sonya versus Dahaka matchup is a tough one. It's a good skill matchup for both players. Whether or not Sonya can sustain herself and avoid tongues from the Dahaka, and then for Dahaka, how long you can stand under the oppressive, consistent damage of those W slams coming out of Sonya. Both teams' drafts looking awfully solid. Plenty of damage to throw around. Very impactful tanks. Not a single questionable hero among them. A lot is going to ride on how impactful these tanks can be, keeping the team behind them alive. Both teams having fairly vulnerable damage dealers in Tassadar and Lunara. So a lot of onus is going to be on their supports and their tanks to back them up. We do see very strong wave clear out of both of these teams.
Heroes Prepare for combat.
Coming out of the blue team, FF and the Pancakes, Stampy is playing Lunara, Hippity Hoppity Deer, seeing Zizergy playing Johanna, Grumpy Kitten playing that Dahaka.
Battle commencing in 10 seconds. 5.
And Courtney
4,
playing Malfurion.
3, 2,
Coming out of Free
1.
Hong Kong, Nematode is playing Titans,
the dragon's
Vince Noir
wrath.
playing Tassadar, Double Dam playing the Diablo, Ragu playing Rhaegar, and Dax playing Sonya. Both teams coming out, clearing their waves quickly. No damage really wasted on heroes. A root comes out on to the Tassadar, but no real follow-up comes out. Hong Kong rotates on the safe way. A little bit of a stun coming out from the KT, and some prio is gained in the favor of the Pancakes. Nothing too dire for Hong Kong. Good wave clear coming out of that Tassadar will catch them up right away. Looks like Hong Kong is controlling this Tribush just a little bit. And interestingly, out of the Pancakes, we're seeing them take up their Bruiser camp first, while Hong Kong takes their Siege camp at the bottom right. This Bruiser camp is fairly protected, very difficult to invade. That could be playing a small part of it, thinking that Hong Kong has a better level 1 than them. Or they could just be looking to push hard into this top lane. Johanna's going to take buckets of damage from this Tychus. Great flip coming out of the Diablo. Let's see if Sonya can survive in this top lane against this big push. Now typically it is said that the bottom lane is the stronger lane. You want to usually win your games at the bottom lane, but it doesn't mean that capturing that top fort is not valuable. Hong Kong is looking to pick up this bottom camp, another valuable asset to taking down this bottom fort. Both teams fairly even on HP. Looks like Hong Kong is looking for a bit of an engagement here. Kael'thas picked out of the rotation. A lot of damage coming down, both onto the Kael'thas and the Tassadar. Neither team sees a significant loss of life. This camp getting a great push onto that bottom lane wall, almost taking the entire wall in the favor of Hong Kong. On the top lane, that push managed to take most of a bottom tower. That's a little low on the HP in that top lane bout, but nothing too dire. Rotations keeping up for both teams, double channel in favor of Hong Kong, and that allows them to be free to move a little more fluidly around the map while they have that double channel, because Pancakes have to leave somebody in that lane to stop any kind of channel attempts. A little bit of damage on to the tank double. This wave is cleared rapidly, and they're going to look to push these minions into this wall. Diablo taking more and more damage from this team. They're going to walk out, trying to get a pick, a flip, and then a slam, but it doesn't happen, doesn't connect. Hong Kong backs up. In the middle lane, Sonya continues to pick up the soak, in a way doing the work of two heroes, who eats a drag from Dahaka. It's not going to be too dire. Tychus shooing that Johanna away with the minigun. Now it's going to look like it's going to be a double channel in the favor of the Pancakes. Diablo solo holding this bottom point is not going to last down here for long without the aid of their team. Tychus is coming in hard from the flank, looking for some damage. We're looking at a grenade build coming out of this Tychus, so long-range poke damage to couple with that Tassadar's long-range poke. And once again, we find a double channel in favor of Hong Kong. Great cleanses coming out of this Rhaegar on those roots to save too much damage from going down with this tank. Both teams trading some damage, trading some XP. Neither team has gotten their opposing camp from the one that they originally started this game with. And we do see the Treant talent out of this Malfurion rather than the sleep, so looking to do more damage rather than more extended CC out of this Malfurion. seeing double in the bush, looking for a flip and a charge. Almost finds him on the Lunara, and Tychus is there with the counter damage. We have a 4v3 in this lane because Sonya is double soaking out of her mind, keeping two heroes busy for the price of one. Now Hong Kong seeing their siege camp up again, so going to take that for some macro pressure. The Pancakes are going to continue working primarily to keep this objective, trying to get a double channel for themselves to free themselves up on the map. Meantime, Sonya and Tassadar picking up this camp, and there's nobody to defend the Johanna. She is likely going to get this channel. Ooh, and the lasers are cancelled at the very last second thanks to the tank from Hong Kong. Now Hong Kong has two camps on the map against their opposing team's 0. Both teams fairly even on the race to 10. Hong Kong with 3 in bottom, 1 in mid, 1 Sonya in top. And now they have the double lasers, and that puts a lot of pressure on the side of the Pancakes. Now Furon takes a ton of damage, almost gets picked off by the Tychus grenade and minigun. This continuous poke pressure from the side of Hong Kong is very oppressive. Ultis come online, and Odin is dropped immediately to rain down damage and try to take a bit of this bottom fort. Double with a big charge, trying to get some damage down. The Odin taking some fort damage. And now with this wave coming in from behind, they will be able to continue to siege here, but Odin goes the risky way around, and is likely going to get punished for it. The double lethal strike from Lunara gets the pick on the Odin. Alfurion almost goes down for his round. He does. He dies to the Tassadar Thunderstorm. Now we have a 1-for-1, 3 in bottom. Sonya continuing this double soak madness in mid and top, not worrying about that top shrine too much because Hong Kong is doing such a dominant hold of this bottom shrine. Both teams even on experience. Fantastic work by the soaking efforts of both sides. Double goes in, tries to get some nonsense done against this double assassin pair in the bottom lane, and walks away. All the while, Rhaegar and Tassadar are picking up this camp in bottom, which is going to give them a big advantage against all of that spell power coming from the side of the Pancakes. That spell shield coming out from, from that night camp is going to give them a big advantage if they choose to take a fight here. Ooh, Tassadar takes a lot of damage from that Lunara pop. Doesn't fall. We have a 3v3 here in the bottom lane. Mid is attempting to channel, but Sonya is there watching the mid lane diligently. Hong Kong picks up the channel in bottom lane. Sonya continuing to maintain her health against heroes that struggle to keep her stunned, keep her health low. All the while, Hong Kong in bottom using their numbers advantage, using their poke advantage to slowly chip away at this fort. A little bit of a root on this Tassadar, but the sustain is there from Rhaegar. Helpas trying to get some flame strikes, some living bomb spread damage, but the spread from Hong Kong is keeping that damage a little low, and the double lasers are back on again for Hong Kong as both teams are approaching level 13. No forts down quite yet. No major kills. It's 1-2. Both teams just playing it safe, playing their game the macro way that they know that they want to play this matchup, looking for some kind of advantage, some kind of mistake. Hailtoss gets flipped, the APOC comes in hard, and Malfurion unleashes the silence to keep Diablo from wrecking too much more havoc. Odin is popped, as well as Phoenix. KT is low, possibly going down to the next Tychus Q. This fort is getting extremely low. This Lunara popping off, throwing buckets and buckets of damage, but the fort goes down, and now she is vulnerable to attack. Hong Kong with 5 in the bottom lane, the slam onto this Dahaka. Dahaka in a horrible space to be. The wall from the Tassadar, Nematode now in danger, and the spread damage now in this tight corridor. The one fight Hong Kong takes in a corridor, and it goes quite poorly for them. Tassadar might go down here as well. She goes down to that shield glare. Now, despite losing bottom fort, the Pancakes are now ahead on XP, ahead ahead on kills and are very much in this game. Nobody wants to lose a fort, but you know, if you're going to lose one, you might as well get a couple of kills in compensation. Good work from Sonya to keep that double laser off the board in the top lane. Diablo looking to duke it out a little bit with his Dahaka. At Siege Camp, pressure is a real deal. We'll slowly be chipping down on the gate. Diablo in with some flip damage. And now Diablo looking for a pin on this Dahaka as it takes a lot of damage from the Tychus. And the pin is real. Great body block from this Diablo. But in the mid lane, attempting to continue to get that soak, Sonya does fall for the first time. And the rotation comes in from Pancakes. Strong Blessed Shield pins this Diablo. A huge heal from the Rhaegar keeps Diablo alive. Tychus also kept alive. Amazing heals from this Rhaegar. And now for the counterattack. Diablo with a full health drink from that well. Odin coming off. Looks like Diablo is going to try to stall mid, but unfortunately does not have a great way to long-range poke. And now the first objective, the very first objective of this 10-minute game, goes to the side of the Pancakes. This fort here will go down in short order in favor of the Pancakes. Hong Kong doesn't really want to take a fight here, down 16s. They're very close. They will likely just bide their time, you know, poke at this dragon, give what structures need to be given, and then take the fight when it needs to happen at 16. We have 5 here on the side of the Pancakes against 4 from Hong Kong. They are really going for as much structure value out of this objective as they can possibly get, hoping to snowball the rest of this game with their structure advantage. Sonya coming in from behind, looking for a fight. That leap trigger finger, I'm sure, is active. Both teams posturing, looking for whatever they can get to open up this map. Sonya easing off, not looking for too much. Goes back to soaking. Same with Dahaka, back to soaking. Johanna whiffs a shield. Huge leap, huge dive from the entire team of the Pancakes. The Rhaegar heal attempt goes off, but fortunately Tassadar pops at the last second, and now the Pancakes with a strong push in this bottom lane, trying to pick up more kills, but Lunara gets greedy and goes down under towers. Took a big aggressive leap, did not work in her favor. Big heal comes out on that Diablo, and now we have a 1-for-1. Odin is rolling. Both teams fairly even on XP. 1 fort extra down for Free Hong Kong in that middle lane. Pancakes looking to build some macro advantage here, taking that camp in the bottom lane. Hong Kong taking their siege camp to counter push, and Sonya getting that push going in the top lane with their bruiser camp going into top lane. Pancakes looking to answer the siege camp with a siege camp of their own. Both teams making sound macro decisions. Pancakes looking to counter the bruiser camp with their own, clear it out. Both teams playing sound macro games, not making any silly decisions to go for kills that they shouldn't be. Johanna clearing this lane, slowly but surely. Now it looks like there could be a gank attempt coming in here against this Sonya. Sonya smells it. The Blessed Shield is up, and it does fly. Sonya could be gone, but nope, leaps out. A 1-for-1 trade as far as ultimates go. Sonya is safe. Now the 4-stack of Hong Kong looking to do some damage in bottom lane, knowing that most of the host, the Pancakes, is top. This is going to be some significant siege damage.
And the Dragon Knight's power is yours.
All of the assassins are still in top lane for the Pancakes. Hong Kong continuing to push into this lane with this siege camp and this catapult. Now Sonya diligently going to clean top lane, that bruiser camp, pushing down that top fort. Some good free low risk damage for Hong Kong there. Both teams very even, both teams looking for 20s. Double looking for a flip and a push. The black hole is big against that Lunara and that Dahaka, but Dahaka's health regen is strong. This 45 is starting to, or 44 is starting to look worse for Hong Kong. This Malfurion walking up, looking for that big Twilight Dream to end this fight. Hong Kong wisely retreats. It's safe. Sonya picks up top lane to keep that double laser off for now. Sonya looking to clear here. Quite a bit vulnerable with that Johanna sitting there. The Blessed Shield is ripped. But Rhaegar is there for the healing. Oh, and Sonya with the leap against that Malfurion. Malfurion's going to look to Twilight Dream against this team, but gets popped way before any buttons can be pressed, and now Hong Kong with a big advantage, healer down for their opponents. They're going to look to shut this double laser off and get some work done on the map. I wouldn't be surprised to see Hong Kong continue to push that bottom keep. Typically, it is said that one must have 2 enemy heroes down to really efficiently guarantee that double laser and objective completion. And I think Hong Kong is wise to that. Johanna takes a huge amount of damage, and she's gonna pop. The level 20 activates. That is going to be gone, and Tyga's gonna look to throw that grenade. No success there. Now Johanna's level 20 Unbreakable is going to be on cooldown for the next 3 minutes. She's gonna Hearth. Hong Kong with the double laser knows that they have an advantage on the map here. I wouldn't be surprised to see Sonya continue to shove into Haka in that top lane to maintain or try to get that double laser back. Sonya looks like she's actually struggling in this matchup due to the adaptation from the Haka. So much self-sustain, so much damage shielding that Sonya cannot actually end up winning that 1v1. And now we have even bodies on the map. Looks like Sonya's joining the main host of Hong Kong for this big team fight. Dinar is out, but safe. Both teams posturing for a fight. Diablo looking for a charge on this Johanna, and Johanna pop. A big APOC is unleashed by Diablo. A lot of scoops. Big heal coming out from the Rhaegar. Dahaka in the backline of Hong Kong. Sonya in the backline of the Pancakes, and both teams are both split on targets. Looks like Sonya is going on a rampage on this backline, trying to kill 2 for 1. Sonya gets a pick. Dahaka now running from the host of Hong Kong. There are 2 kills for the side of Hong Kong against 1. Sonya getting another kill. Now we have 3 dead on the side of the Pancakes. What is Hong Kong going to do with his advantage? They've got a severe map disadvantage. That level 20 Odin does enormous siege damage. I would not be surprised to see them go for core here. Looks like Sonya and Tassadar are going to look to pick up that dragon to try to get an end attempt with this keep down. Sonya going for the channel, Tassadar ready to get that objective picked up. This keep is going to go down for that oppressive Odin damage that lasts forever. Diablo sharking for another kill. Odin looking to follow up on any damage that deadly Diablo is going to put down. They still have another 20 seconds of dead Pancakes on the other side. Diablo with a blink out to preserve their HP, and the dragon is on the way through bottom lane. All bodies from Pancakes will be up to defend this dragon, but it is a level 21, 18-minute dragon coming down directly on their core with all bodies alive. Dax a little bit low in the back. A body from the Pancakes. Johanna gets kicked out. Rhaegar does fall. Dax using that shield to sustain themselves. The core is taking severe damage. Can this Dragon Knight end this core against all bodies from the Pancakes? Hong Kong throws all bodies from the core. A lot of damage is going down on this core. Can Tassadar finish it? Throw all spells onto this core. 21% on the Pancakes core, and all bodies have fallen for Hong Kong. Does Pancakes try to charge all the way across the map in 45 seconds to get the W? Can they break through the keep? So much damage done to that Pancakes core, and yet the lanes are so pushed out that the Pancakes are struggling to mount, struggling to get all the way across the map and try to do a counter core attempt against Hong Kong. They're clearing that lane, they're prepping it, getting their minions rolling, and they are going to look to do some siege damage here. Diablo floating around, doesn't have souls anymore. He's going to look to build some of those up with a W build. And we have Rhaegar back on the field, Sonya coming up very, very soon. Tychus quite quickly after that. A big Blessed Shield on the Diablo. Diablo could go down here. Yawo does
Slain.
get popped with that CC combo, and now Hong Kong is going to have to defend their core with 4 bodies instead of 5. The Odin does come up. A lot of damage is going to come out of this Tychus, especially if they preserve their HP, and it is going to be very difficult for the Pancakes to siege into this Odin. And now, with 5v4 on the map, the Pancakes could look to use this siege camp to try to pressure this keep, maybe force a mistake out of Hong Kong to get another pick. Let's see if Hong Kong is wise to play it safe and use their advantage. Their opposing core, with only, counting the shield, 40% of core life left. All it takes is 1 kill for this, in favor of Hong Kong to go for that core rush. But on the reverse side, it'll only take, with the keep down for Hong Kong, a kill for the Pancakes.
Avenge my husband.
The Pancakes are going to channel that double laser immediately. They are prepped, and that dragon will be nearly impossible to stop.
The Dragon Knight shall reduce you to
Hong Kong does have Tychus, one of the best heroes in the entire game, to shred. It looks like Hong Kong is going to go for the core. The Dragon Knight is going towards the Hong Kong's core, and it's going to be a 4v5 defense on the Pancake's core, while the Dragon tries to end Hong Kong's core.
under attack.
Are they going to drop the Dragon to try to defend this core? Everybody's trying to hearth. A lot of damage is coming out on this core from Hong Kong. A big Rhaegar ulti comes out to heal Rhaegar. A lot of damage coming out. Tassadar is throwing everything they've got. Titans is burning down the rest of the core, and Hong Kong completes the core kill before their shield even dropped. GG, well played to both teams. And we tied this series up 1-1. What an ending to a fantastic game. Fairly even throughout, just like the previous. We see a lot of damage, huge buckets of damage coming out from this Lunara. I would be very surprised to see that allowed through this next draft. 107k hero damage versus Tychus's not shabby 54k hero damage. That's almost double the hero damage from one hero. Absolutely incredible. And the Kael'thas, also from the Pancakes, doing 53k damage. Malfurion doing 52k damage. Looking at the talent builds from these players, Malfurion taking the Vengeful Roots and Celestial Alignment, otherwise known as Assassin Malfurion, doing basically assassin level damage. Dahaka picking adaptation, typically not considered the meta talent, but saw enormous value, eating tons of damage from Hong Kong and then bursting back to full health in a lot of those fights. On the side of Hong Kong, they took a pretty solid wombo combo composition with that Diablo with APOC, Tassadar with the Black Hole, Sonya with the Leap. And even though they took a big wombo combo composition, they didn't rely on the wombo combo. The Tychus and Tassadar damage, the poke, especially from long range, did a lot of work, especially with Siege in that bottom lane throughout the early game. Going into this last and final game, it sounds like the Pancakes have taken first pick. Hong Kong will be deliberating over which map that they want to take them to next. Both teams displaying fantastic macro knowledge, getting waves consistently, getting camps consistently, utilizing siege damage consistently. I would not be surprised to see them take yet another macro map. We could see ourselves at Altright Pass, could see ourselves at any number of macro maps. I wouldn't expect to see us in one of the 2-lane maps from either of these teams. Not to say that their team fight is poor, but both teams have shown very strong preference towards those macro maps to utilize their skill in their macro decisions. If I were to vote, I would vote for Boraxis so that they can both just slam into each other on repeat. No macro shenanigans, no clever rotations, no brilliant timings. Ooh, it looks like FF and the Pancakes and Hong Kong are going to Tomb of the Spider Queen. This map is one of those interesting ones where it is kind of a macro map in that the rotations are vital. Getting those spider butts extremely, extremely important, and yet it's such a small map that it could be considered to be just one big ARAM lane. So quick rotations, I wouldn't be surprised to see a Lucio come out from either team to enable those fast rotations, those quick decisions. We are still waiting for one player from the side of Hong Kong. The lobby is up. Both teams appear to be nearly ready to go. Now, does either team decide to bite the bullet and actually ban the Johanna? Now, the Johanna has been very impactful in both games, and yet has been on the losing side of both games. So maybe that hero is, not all it's cracked up to be, or maybe these teams have just devised some very strong solutions to the type of power that Johanna actually grants a team. Looks like this lobby is ready to get rolling into our final draft, the tiebreaker draft of this best of 3 series.
Tomb of the Spider Queen.
This will be the first map that the Pancakes get first pick in this series. I'm curious to see if their draft strategy deviates from its previous ban Stukov state, or will they try to contest for the Stukov themselves? They do not deviate. Stukov ban comes out, as has been the usual, and I don't expect any deviation from Hong Kong as well. That Lunara was absolutely terrifying in that previous game. Ooh, and the Rhaegar ban comes out, so an amount of deviation. Hong Kong recognizing that wave clear is powerful, that Rhaegar is powerful, especially on a map as small as this, where that big AoE slow, those big AoE damage shields can be extremely impactful. And a Gul'dan ban, so a more priority on the Gul'dan ban. Gul'dan maybe being the king of wave clear, especially on a quick rotation map like this, where Gul'dan doesn't actually really have a mana pool. He has a health pool, and then quick, low cooldown AoE damage to clear those spiders out. And Stitches ban from Free Hong Kong, FC Hong Kong. Johanna's picked up first pick for the Pancakes. Not surprised. A tank, despite not being on the winning side in these games, is extremely, extremely impactful, and wave clear cannot be underestimated. Lior from Dax, a great wave clear and ultimate bringer. And Vala from Nema, great sustained damage. Pretty safe with that accelerated movement speed to keep putting pressure on Johanna in the front line. Not exactly the queen of wave clear, but still impactful. And that Maiev and the Orphea, both assassins that have seen a large amount of priority banning from Hong Kong, get picked up on the side of the Pancakes. We'll see if those assassins are as terrifying as would be assumed from the bans, or if they fall flat. We'll see if Hong Kong is able to deal with that highly impactful pull from the Maiev, those long-range seeming engage to teleport in and whip people into that Orphea damage. Haka is banned from Hong Kong. Very impactful in that last map. Almost impossible to kill, despite jumping in and seeming to be out of position countless times, managed to walk away, or at the very least eat so many cooldowns that one would have to ask, was it actually worth killing them in the first place? Banned from the side of the Pancakes is Kael'thas. Extremely impactful in games 1 and 2 for the sides in which Kael'thas was played. That AoE damage, always a threat, especially on maps like this. I wouldn't be surprised to see another wave clear mage, even that Tassadar again, from the side of Hong Kong. And that Diablo comes out once again, was a great answer
The hunt is
to the
on.
Johanna in the previous game. Super impactful, high damage tank that could seemingly not die in many situations. And the Lunara, this time on the side of Hong Kong, great sustained damage. And the Lucio, as I somewhat predicted. And an Oriole, interesting pick, not typically seen in the meta, but with double battery from Lunara and Fala, it could be extremely successful here. Curious to see if Oriole is like a secret tech to Maiev. When she teleports in, you can whip her back before she's even allowed those change. Execution will be the determining factor here for sure, as we get into our game 3. This Ragnaros pick is very compelling for me. Ragnaros typically used for that lava wave to get that kind of like pseudo split push, but on this map, the tower defense and the lava wave combined make it very easy for Ragnaros to stall out this game into the late game, where Johanna, especially if she goes with Falling Sword, becomes increasingly impactful.
Begins shortly.
From our blue team, we will be seeing Stampy playing Maiev, Mr. G on the Lucio, Courtney playing Orphea, Ziggy playing Johanna, and Grumpy Kitten playing that Ragnaros. On the side of Hong Kong, Vince Noir on Lunara, Ragu on the Oriole, Nematode on Vala, Double Dam on Diablo, and Dax playing the Leoric. The GLHFs come out from both sides. Each team extremely courteous. It's always great to see a 1-1 come out. Both teams very evenly matched. Leo taking the early move towards bottom lane to get Prio and try to shove some of his minions into the wall. The wave clear for Hong Kong is a little short compared to that, the burst wave clear of the Pancakes, and they are going to waltz their way into top lane to catch those minions just as they start to move towards their wall. Both teams using full abilities on these waves to get the waves cleared as quickly as possible. It would be quite difficult for them to really engage in a hard, committed fight as they're using abilities. Leoric coming in here for a 5v4 quick little tussle, able to do that because of that high speed wave clear that Leoric brings. Other team really forcing anything here. Double looking for a bit of a slam here, maybe on Johanna. The pull from Maiev disrupts any attempts to position properly for those wall bangs here. Both teams trading out a bit of damage. Both healers not entirely dependent on mana pools to sustain their healing. Great choice for this kind of a map where each team could throw a couple of spells at each other randomly throughout fights. There's a rotation towards bottom from 4 bodies of the Pancakes, possibly to attempt to gank this Leoric, but Leoric scoots away. And now Leoric has seen this rotation into bottom. This camp will certainly go towards the side of the Pancakes. There's not too much that Hong Kong can do with their slightly slower wave clear. Hong Kong going for this early bruiser camp, utilizing that free mana from that Oriole matched with the Vala. Diablo and Lunara not too encumbered by clearing these waves themselves. They're able to get all of the minions in time without too much fret, even though the quick clear is desirable. It's not the end of the world if you end up having to spend a little extra time auto-attacking. We could see a bit of a fight here over the bottom turn-in. Vala, Oriole, and Diablo all positioning to lace of impact. Dax taking a bit of damage as heroes have been rotating into Leoric's lane. His rotations are getting rapid. Diablo going for a charge, but the Johanna manages to pop a shield just in time. Now Hong Kong is using quite a bit of this push to try to get some damage onto this front wall, but the wave clear coming out of the Pancakes manages to clean it up pretty handily. Both teams sitting at about the same number of spider butts, though Hong Kong has been far more diligent about getting those turn-ins bit by bit. Their gems are safer now, turned into the spider eggs rather than sitting on their heroes' bodies. Diablo's stepping up, maybe looking for a bit of a wallbang here. Maiev continuing to get resets on that Fan of Knives, doing chip damage as she does best. Looks like both teams are starting to work towards this turn-in, and Hong Kong gets the first turn-in. Statistically, getting that first turn-in often leads to or is indicative of certain advantages that often leads towards teams towards victory. I believe globally the win rate of first turn-in is upwards of 60%, so that's a good sign for Hong Kong. But the Pancakes have been wise to get their mid-camp rolling before this objective came out, and it's going to make that defense much easier for the side of the Pancakes. We have a 4v4 starting up in this top lane. Lunar taking a bit of damage there. The Ragnaros trait comes out on bottom to try to defend that fort from the spider push. Diablo ends up taking a good bit of damage here as Hong Kong continues to poke, continues to throw damage. Hong Kong's heroes, many of them, especially their damage profile, are scaling heroes. Lunara and Vala really scale hard into the later parts of the game. So they are likely not going to be looking at getting too many kills here in the early game. Ooh, a good slam from Diablo puts Orphea in a terrible position. She's taking a lot of damage and she pops pretty hastily. And it looks like the host of Hong Kong is going to be pushing strong into this fort. Maiev could go down here pretty quickly as well. A lot of damage goes onto that Maiev, and this mid fort could fall here. Utilizing that kill brilliantly, Hong Kong manages to get a lot of structure damage for basically for free. And now the Pancakes, with nearly a turn-in the bucket, are going to be looking at regaining some foothold into this game. They're certainly not out of it. They've got a lot of gems, both turned in and on their bodies. They haven't lost too much in that one kill gained by Hong Kong. Both teams sitting pretty even in XP in the race towards 10. Dax taking a pretty cautious approach, trying to bait that Ragnaros. And the blue team, the Pancakes, managed to get their turn in. They're going to look to counter push, or to get their push going, and try to even out this playing field. No camps have been taken for the side of Hong Kong, so they have no macro counter push like the Pancakes had in their last objective. Hong Kong does have two very strong auto attackers that are great at pummeling down these spiders, so we'll see how well they're able to defend this. Ideally, without taking any fights at all, will they saw down these deadly spiders that are going to look to siege their structures. Looks like a lot of bodies went and invested into bottom lane. The Auric making themselves scarce, giving bottom lane. And at the end of the day, as considering what lanes one might want to end on, bottom lane might not be the most dire lane to lose in the world. Looks like Hong Kong is going to try to rotate into mid for some kind of damage. Maiev goes for the ulti to trap Diablo in there, into that feast. Vala takes a lot of damage, but is saved by the crystal. A lot of whips come down, damage is traded in this 5v4, and yet Hong Kong loses nobody.
My power wanes
Great job by both teams, losing no one. Hong Kong manages to trade basically some ultis for very few. Crystal for 4 ultis. Pretty good trade at the end of the day. Diablo looking for a slam here to try to get some damage onto this Johanna. The Pancakes continuing to pressure that bottom lane. Could actually consider using that as a win condition in the later game. Despite not having too many camps, I mean, if you get kills in level 20, you're looking at a game-ending push. Diablo coming in here, looking to put some damage down with that Vala. Vala chasing that Lucio. Lucio eats a huge stun from that Oriole. Great hit. Vala is forced to position in a quite questionable way due to that Eternal Feast. She pops due to that Maiev chain. And now the deadliness of Orphea, that infinite chase, is going to be seen here. We could easily see the death of Lunara and Oriole if the chase is strong enough. Diablo tries to push to save Oriole. I think Diablo might live here. The crystal comes out, but there's no energy for Oriole. Both heroes manage to survive with the skin of their teeth. And with that advantage, the Pancakes are going to scoop up this camp and continue a pretty strong power push into this bottom lane. They're going to get a good amount of damage onto this wall, and as well as the mid-fort wall is likely going to suffer some damage from minions and hero pressure alike due to this camp. In the top lane, Leoric's looking to do some free damage onto this Johanna. Johanna providing no threat damage-wise to that Leoric over the Drain Hope healing sustain. Now the red team managed to sneak in a turn-in despite being on the back foot there for a minute. Now they're going to look to take a big fight here as 5. Leoric looking for an entomb. The Ragnaros wave goes top to clear up that wave. Bottom is, oh, and a big entomb comes out from Leoric, followed with the APOC. A lot of damage falls onto that Ragnaros. Oriole does fall. A lot of damage is exchanged for that Eternal Feast on top of the team of Free Hong Kong ends up doing way too much damage for Oriole to sustain through, and only Vala manages to escape with her life while these web weavers from Free Hong Kong are pushing. Fantastic counter engage from the side of the Pancakes. What looked like a great Leoric entomb ended up baiting the team of Hong Kong to step forward, step into that Eternal Feast, and eat tons of damage. And now, clearing up that objective seemingly for free, the Pancakes could be looking at potentially taking this boss, could be looking to work towards their own turn-in, or just produce some more macro advantages elsewhere on the map. Looks like they're going to use those kills to gain the structure damage. They're going to even out the structure gain. 1 fort alive for each team. New York looking for another huge entomb. We're going to get that damage down. That Infernal Beast comes out once again, disengaging Hong Kong. And Diablo now getting lower and lower on health. The Blessed Shield disrupts any of the attack from Hong Kong, and both teams trade basically all of their Rs for nothing. Both teams have fairly short cooldowns on all of their R buttons as well. I believe everything coming out the side of the Pancakes is on a 60-second cooldown. Diablo caught out of position quite a bit, used a brilliant charge on the Johanna to get out of that danger. Now Oriole scampers away, all the while in a 5v4, Hong Kong continues to trade fairly evenly without losing any bodies. Leoric soaking their way back into this game in the bottom lane. Now the blue team has a double turn in, I believe. They have that many spider butts. And so they're going to try to use the 16 advantage and a double turn in to put a lot of pressure on Hong Kong that's going to be more and more difficult to deal with as time goes on. Level 16 will be a large talent tier to catch up to for Hong Kong. It's a big power spike for both of their ranged assassins, as well as the survivability of Diablo with that W build, reducing enemy hero damage by 40% up to over time. Is highly impactful, especially against a team that is relying on this big burst wombo combo. And now Dax gets trapped, launches the Entomb, and then gets crystallized. Vince Noir trying to give some big counter damage, but no. Oh, a kill happens onto Orphea, traded for the Leoric. Maiev throwing out so much damage with those Fan of Knives, getting reset after reset, but also getting low, double with a huge stun against that Maiev. Maiev is bleeding to death against that Lunara poison, but will not go down. This Ragnar is also so low. Quick push by the Diablo to get that kill. And now we see 2-4-1 in the end in favor of Hong Kong, but all the while, Pancakes Web Weavers have been pushing. They could very well get this keep in the bottom lane. Those Archer minions doing absurd amounts of damage to the keep, and yes, it does indeed fall. Will the top lane fall as well? Would be yeah, top lane will also fall. All of those Archer minions doing absolutely wild amounts of damage to structures. Now Hong Kong looking at having only one lane healthy. The other lanes will continue to produce catapults against them the entire rest of this game. And that leaves them in a very precarious spot against a Ragnaros, who can throw a lava wave down any lane to continue to create massive pressure. Down here, Leoric looking to pick up this camp, doesn't want to deal with the Maiev, and Maiev does quite a bit of damage in a short amount of time to that Leoric. Lucio is going to pursue. They could actually find themselves a pick onto this Leoric without Lucio pursuit. Instead of chasing too far in enemy territory, they end up giving it up. Leoric will live to avoid getting too much trait value. In the middle here, we're seeing both camps being taken and then cleared by our teams. All the while, Pancakes are checking boss, could potentially consider posturing, and a big bouncy castle shot off by Maiev. Counter engage with the APOC. Ultis are thrown left and right. The Entomb is still available. Dax throws the Entomb, could possibly be sacrificing his life for that Entomb here. Looks like Orphea could pop. Instead, we see Ragnaros and Maiev. Lucio very low in the back, almost dies to the Lenore poison once again, 2 for nothing in favor of Hong Kong. Fantastic heals and managing positioning for the team to survive a huge engage from the side of the Pancakes. Now, Hong Kong does not have Turn-In, but they will be getting this boss and will look to utilize it to gain damage on that fort, and maybe even that keep wall. It is a late game boss, 15 minutes into the game. Neither team has level 20, so it is a great time to get some extra siege damage before that late game level 20v20 fight. Coming up to this siege, looks like Vala is clearing some of this wave behind, trying to get those minions onto this fort, those minions offering a lot of damage. All the while, Lunara, fairly safe, ranged assassin, trying to get some siege damage. And Hong Kong is looking at Turn-In now. This boss will end up not getting too much damage here, but Ragnaros trait does come out. Now getting this Ragnaros trait out and away from defending the Web Weavers will be valuable for Hong Kong. It'll enable them to siege a lane as 5 without fear of that Ragnaros trait coming out and turning the tides of the fight. And the Ragnaros wave does come out into middle lane, probably the ideal lane for Ragnaros to have thrown it. Double continuing to struggle, move backwards for her life. Great whip from the Oriel. Fantastic healing. The bouncing castle only catches Diablo. The internal piece onto the Vala. Everybody moves out. Level 20s are online for the Pancakes. Looks like Diablo gets a great flip onto the Johanna, and it could be that double dam will be popping here. No other bodies fall the side of Hong Kong. Now it looks like Hong Kong will get that top lane fort, and probably no other structure damage, but it does buy them into a level 20 v20 team fight. And at 20, a lot of damage comes online, a lot of safety comes online the side of Hong Kong with that Vala level 20 Farflight Quiver enables her to shoot from so far away that a lot of the long-range engage potential enabled by Maiev is nullified. Both teams continuing to slug it out in this matchup, bringing us to a level 20 game. The Pancakes looking at Turn-In, and that Turn-In could be devastating for the side of Hong Kong, enabled by Ragnaros, especially if you get that Molten Core onto an enemy keep. It's very, very difficult to defend your core against both spiders and a Molten Core. Turn-In is achieved by the blue team. Diablo goes in hard for that engage, and a huge Entomb and APOC. Everything is going off. Eternal Feast lands on 3 of the heroes on Hong Kong's side. A big pull from the Maiev. Dax looks like they're going to fall. It's a 1-for-1 currently. Double trying to survive the very end of this fight. Lunara goes down. Oriole will likely go down as well. Double taking on a huge amount of potential health with that Devil's Due, and yet Orphea does pop off and get 3 kills. Now these Web Weavers are going to be coming in, pouring down the lanes. Fortunately for Hong Kong, Ragnaros is dead, so cannot utilize the lava wave. An early GG from Dax could be spoken a little too soon. Double trying to get some kind of damage onto this Orphea. Any delay that is possible for the favor of Hong Kong could keep them in this game. The Vala be able to do tremendous damage to these spiders, especially once those stacks of hatred are built up. The shield is down for the side of Hong Kong. A great entomb from the Leoric. Vala shelling damage away, and yet that core slowly moving down, 60% on that core. Vala is extremely low here, taking a lot of damage from Maiev. Leoric also picked off. Vala, Lunara spawns, and the core of Hong Kong does fall in the end. Great 2-1 from both teams. Fantastically played. Each map going late, deep into level 20. Looking at some of these damage numbers, Orphea just shining in that game, doing double the damage of Vala, a high octane DPS hero. Orphea definitely deserved those bans in games 1 and 2. It looks like we're going to get an interview from the side of FF and the Pancakes in just a moment here. Going to jump into a lobby. Just saw them, and then I saw them log off. See if I can find them. Gonna see if I can ping them in the Discord. There we go. Trying to get some difficulties settled between myself and the interviewee. Trying to get ourselves into the same lobby at the same time. Hello?
Does this work?
Hello!
How are you?
I'm doing well, congratulations. Great series, 2-1, nail biter all the way to the end. How you feeling?
I am cleaning out my underwear as a side project to this conversation.
What a fantastic what a fantastic game, every single game.
Yeah.
What if you had to make like a big call out to either a pick or a play that you saw coming out of Hong Kong that made you think like, oh no, like how do we answer this? Like, is there anything that particularly comes to mind?
There was a moment in the second game, bottom lane, where we took some deaths and they took that fort. And
Hmm.
I don't know if you remember, but we had been going, it had just been this locked game where no one was getting anything done. We were all just stalling out. Everything was kind of level. Our team was getting some walls. And when I saw that happen, when I saw that death occur, I thought to myself, correctly, apparently, that's it. That's game. Like we've sort of given the bulge to them there. I think their Diablo was creating some plays there that we kind of fell into because we were being too aggressive. But it's not like there was, from my perspective at least, they were all playing ridiculously well, and it was super, super hard across the board. Like I'm not looking at any of them and saying, "Wow, that was the guy that made the team." It was this collective effort of pain and insanity. Like we had a bunch of engages, like even looking back on game 3, where we just got nothing done, because they were cohesive, they were making good choices, they were doing a good job of focusing targets. Like everything was just on point from a team level. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I was especially in game three definitely comes to mind. Your hard engage with the ultimate synergy between Maiev, the poles, the Eternal Feast, using Johanna to enable all of that with scoops and with blessed shields. Some of those engages were so incredibly crisp. And then I would look as the dust settled and like nobody died from either
Yeah.
team. I was like, what?
So we hit everything.
Yeah, like all the buttons
And
from both teams were
yeah.
used, and then they just like calmly walk away and say, see ya, bye, see you in 60 seconds when all the ults are up again.
Yeah, and I'm just screaming to the team, it didn't happen. Let's get out. Let's get out. And people still want to dive because there's some low players, and it's just that it's a frustrating moment, and those kind of kept happening throughout the game where the pancakes. I think we kind of define ourselves by those wombos and those moments where we get a really strong play that allow us to kind of push a little bit of macro, and it just wasn't happening. Like consistently was not happening.
Yeah,
So
yeah, the Wombo synergy was extraordinary. During those games, I kept thinking to myself, like, am I actually casting a Div E game right now? Because like it did not feel like a Division E game. Like both teams were making some absurdly smart decisions, walking away when you need to walk away. Like is such a hard decision to make. And I saw your players do it time and time again. Low heroes on the enemy side, and just like I'm not gonna int for the death.
I'd like to think we made that up a couple times. Really confirmed that it was a divvy game. Like I know I had a couple deaths where I'm like, why am I here? Why am I in this position right now?
Mhm.
And I think both times that I got Joe, I got that level 20 talent where you don't die if you
Yep.
die.
Yeah,
That kicked in
unbreakable.
almost immediately for me. Like in both cases, that was the correct talent within 30 seconds of me picking it, just because that was when I was going to make a terrible decision.
Oh
And
yeah, I mean,
so,
why would you take a talent that you weren't going to get value out of,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
You
I
have to.
guess.
I mean, it's like Leoric. Like you have to die at least 5 times in a Leoric game to really get value out of that hero.
I was super happy in the last game. I mean, Tomb is their map. That's a map they do historically well on.
Hmm.
I was super happy that we were able to pick up Rag. I think that made it because that's just a strong macro map. They played it in a strong macro way. And Rag really helped us kind of contend with that a little bit and keep things level until we could get favorable engages
Yeah, for
that
sure.
we could press. So that was awesome.
Yeah, that I really liked that tech pick. Um, Ragnaros is one of those heroes that like you can keep yourself in the game until you finally win it with
Yeah,
like a big wombo, which is kind of what happened. Um,
yeah.
you know, you took swing after swing, sometimes getting some traction, sometimes not, and then kept yourself in the game. Never get really gave them too much traction to sit on, and then when you finally got your really big home run hit, like it was pretty much time to call it game over.
Yeah, it was like they kind of gave the preemptive GG, and when we were approaching core there, we're like, I don't know if this is quite GG. It ended up going fine, but it was That's what it came down to. Just waiting, 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 hoping they would make the mistake before we did. And I feel that was the story for all three games.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's the team that makes the last mistake, right?
Yep.
I want to talk about the draft in game one because I've seen a lot of teams come up with things deliberately to try to make Johanna feel bad. Was the comp that was all slows a deliberate choice because of the Johanna, like giving the Johanna early, or did it just kind of seem to happen that way?
Yeah, it just kind of seemed to happen that way. Like we, just like they did, with their ban of Maev and Daihaka, we went into that thing with a little bit of research, with a little bit of concern over some specific heroes. So we tried to ban out their comfort picks. And, sort of with the knowledge that we're either going to get Joe or we're going to get Rhaegar, right?
Yeah.
As that draft came out. And that worked out just fine. But the subsequent picks from there, I think, was a decent amount of comfort picks for us in that specific draft because it's just kind of hard to tell what to expect. So let's just go in with the best possible show. You know, in retrospect, I wish we had made maybe a couple different choices, but hindsight's 2020. That Arthas pick is just one that kind of routinely goes pretty well for us into most generic comps,
Okay.
where we can provide a little bit of control. So that's kind of what defined that there. All things considered, I'd much rather play Joe, but that Arthas pick is like a good, solid, comfortable pick for us in a situation where we're not, 100% certain where we're going to go.
It's your like anchor tank, if you will.
Yeah, and
Pick
it's
this
just
because it usually works 80%
yeah,
or 90% well.
yeah, and I mean, I like it didn't go 100% well, that's for sure. But we got enough value out of him. I
Yeah,
don't
for
think I hit
sure.
a root all game. That's a thing.
I saw
But
some roots land there. They
I
just
don't know
were
about that.
hard to follow up roots, if you will.
We did get value just out of the slowing orb. Like
Oh
that was the
yeah,
thing we got value out of at the end of the day.
yeah.
So
I think that using slows against Johanna is brilliant because she doesn't want to have to use her trait to cleanse a slow. She wants to use it for a big CC. So if you have slows all the time, when do you hit D?
yeah,
So
and like I mean, what like I'm very happy to do that. It's also pretty nice to have a hero that your job is to stand there and
right?
try not to die. Like that's something I can do. That's something
Yep.
I can bring to the table. I
Stand in
can
the
stand
way.
there doing nothing else but
Brilliant.
slowing people. That's easy. Yeah.
Well, great. I I don't think I have anything else for you. Do you have any shout outs that you wanna throw out there?
No doubt that was the toughest team. So FF or FC Hong Kong, we are definitely going to see more of you guys. I'm sure if we can both keep playing as well as we have been. That was phenomenal. It was terrifying. I am serious. I'm cleaning up my underwear. That was a really good match. So thank you. Definitely thank you to the league for the work putting this together. And special guy, I can't wait to watch your replays. I
Oh,
can't wait.
thanks.
So I'll be on there with bells on, brother.
Alrighty. Appreciate it. Thank you. GG's. Well played. Have a good evening. I'm sure you and your team want to pat yourselves on the back for a fantastically played series, a well fought 2-1. Congratulations again.
Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate your help today.
You have a good evening. Take
You
care.
too.
And that's going to be it for me. Thanks for all who are watching. Hope you all have a good evening, and I'll catch you next time. Good night.